I never said it hurt that much. It's just...
What's going on, Falcons fans? Logan here. Welcome back to Rise Up Rundown, and if you're new here, welcome. Shout out to Ahish for this cool video idea, and if any of you guys have cool video ideas, don't be afraid to let me know in the comments below. In this video, we're going to go over the top 4 bounce back players for the Atlanta Falcons heading into 2021. Obviously, that means that the players on this list did not really perform all that well last year in 2020, but I do feel that this year there's a lot of things in place for them to truly bounce back and just kind of make a name for themselves heading into the new season. And in this video, we're going to go over who those Falcons players are starting right now. Alright, before we get into the top 4 bounce back players for the 2021 Atlanta Falcons, I want to list off 2 honorable mentions here that didn't quite make the list, simply because I just feel a little more confident that the 4 players ahead of them have a better chance of bouncing back than the 2 honorable mentions here, but I definitely see the upside, and it definitely is possible for them to bounce back in 2021. The first one would be Dante Fowler Jr. First off, he could possibly have what he always does apparently in his NFL career. Every time it's an even-numbered year, he does bad, and every time it's an odd-numbered year, he does good. It's kind of weird. Like in 2016, 2017, he did better than he did in 2016. 2018, 2019, he had an absolute breakout year, and that's what caught the Falcons' attention to want to sign him in 2020. And I guess also the fact that he liked Dan Quinn, but it also was probably because of that breakout year in 2019, and then 2020, could have been better. 2021, probably going to have some sort of breakout year, apparently, because he always does good in odd-numbered years. But let's leave that aside. The real reasons on why he could break out here is he had a pay cut over the offseason. And if I had a pay cut as an NFL player, that would obviously let me know, yeah, I'm in trouble. If I had my contract cut a little bit, that obviously means that the general manager thinks I sucked last year. And he wants me to prove it in order for me to not only even just get more money in general, but also to stay with the team in the long run. Like, I would be motivated to prove, like, I am much better than someone to get my money cut. And hopefully that could motivate Dante Fowler here, knowing, yeah, I was not very good in 2020. I did not live up to the expectation, but I promise I will bounce back and I will get the money I deserve and I will help this team out. And also, he's working alongside Grady Jarrett and maybe a proven defensive coordinator in Dean Pease. His resume shows he's proven, but with the Atlanta Falcons, can he be as good as the resume shows he is the question. But I feel pretty confident he will be. He's working with some pretty good players, he's working with a good player in Grady Jarrett and a good defensive coordinator, hopefully. So with those 2 things, and apparently the on and off every season kind of thing, with he's always good every odd-numbered year, Dante Fowler could bounce back in 2021, but I didn't put him in the top 4 simply because, for one thing, he is wildly inconsistent. I don't know if I can truly trust him to be a bounce back player. But the other thing is, unfortunately for him, he's not really working with a good pass rush. Besides working with Grady Jarrett, he is just the one exception on that pass rush. But besides Grady Jarrett, who in the world is on that pass rush? Like Marlon Davidson, who I guess, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about in a second. Marlon Davidson is not proven at all, and then John Kaminsky's not proven. Tyler Davison's not really a pass rusher, he's just a run stopper. He doesn't really have a lot of pass rushers to work with, so it's kind of hard to grow from that, but that's why I'm not super confident in Dante Fowler to bounce back, but it could happen. And then the other player is Marlon Davidson. Yeah, he's working alongside Grady Jarrett, and he's working with hopefully a good defensive coordinator in Dean Pease. And if Dante Fowler is good in 2021, then I guess he's working with another good pass rusher, I guess. But another reason he could break out here is, my goodness, surely he has to be better than he was last year. Last year was the unluckiest rookie year, let alone maybe even the unluckiest year ever for an NFL player, not even just for a rookie, I have ever seen. I mean, yeah, sure, when he was on the field, he didn't even do that good, but he hardly could even get on the field because either A, he kept getting sick, or 2, he kept getting injured. And I'm pretty sure he never had a single pressure all of 2020. Surely he has to do better than he did then, right? I think anyone can bounce back than from a season like that. So I think Marlon Davidson surely can do better than he did in his rookie season, simply because just, gosh, like, that was just an unlucky rookie season. Goodness gracious, unlucky. But unfortunately, he doesn't really have a lot of players to work around except for Grady Jarrett. And it's a little hard to work around players that kind of also need to work a little bit. And then also, he's not really proven. When he was on the field last year, he didn't really do good. But I'm not going to count him out just yet. Maybe year 1 was just so unlucky for him, and year 2 he could just totally break out. He's possibly going to bounce back here, but I don't feel as confident in it, but just keep an eye on him. But let's get into the 4 players that I actually truly do feel confident they will bounce back here. And number 4 is a player that we've all been hoping would bounce back for a long time, and I feel finally this could be the year. Quadree Ollison. Every single year it seems like, oh, he's going to do good, and just never really happened. But granted, he never really was given a lot of opportunity. Let's just be real. He was working with an offensive coordinator in Dirk Cutter, who really wasn't a good offensive coordinator in general, but he had a history of not knowing how to run the ball. And it just, with Ito Smith and Todd Gurley, he wasn't really given that many opportunities. And now that he's working with a new head coach that obviously knows how to utilize the running game because he worked with Derrick Henry. And then apparently, I've been hearing that in practice over the offseason, he's been getting a lot of reps. Like, he's been getting a lot of opportunities. Just keep an eye on that. Like, Quadree Ollison could be given much more opportunities than he did in years past. And the more opportunities, the more there is to grow as a player. And he's working with a good head coach that hopefully knows how to utilize the run game like he did in Tennessee. He was a stud coming out of college. We all knew that one. He's also working with a good running back ahead of him in Mike Davis. He obviously could teach him some tips and tricks on how to be a good running back, because Mike Davis is a good running back. And then also, Mike Davis is one of those players that I feel really wants to work out here in Atlanta. He loves the city of Atlanta. He wants to make a good running game here in Atlanta. So with someone that wants to do well here, hopefully he could make the other guys around him good as well. And I feel like just the Falcons fans in general are rooting for Quadree Ollison, so that could just kind of give him a little heads up there. I feel finally an opportunity for Quadree Ollison to get more reps, because Ito Smith is gone, Todd Gurley's gone, Mike Davis is there, but I'm hearing that Quadree Ollison's getting a lot of reps in the offseason, which means obviously Arthur Smith wants to utilize him somehow, and what better way to grow as a running back than with a head coach that worked with Derrick Henry? So obviously he knows how to use the running game there. I feel finally this could be the year for Quadree Ollison. Not to mention that he's actually with a pretty good offensive line, and we'll get to 2 players on the offensive line in a second. I guess I kind of spoiled some of that there, but the next player is on the offensive line, Matt Hennessy. I was super high on this player after they drafted him. I think I gave him an A- as soon as the Falcons drafted him. He's just a stud, but he was not the best in 2020, simply because I just feel like he didn't really play the position he's supposed to play at guard, which, obviously they had to do that. Alex Mack was still in the game. Obviously, they're not going to replace Alex Mack with a rookie. But yeah, Alex Mack is gone, and now Matt Hennessy is going to step in at center. Some people are saying Drew Dahlman will, but I don't think that's the case. I think it'll be Matt Hennessy. Matt Hennessy obviously has learned a little bit from one of the best to ever do it in Alex Mack. And now that he knows a little bit from Alex Mack, and he's finally playing what he played in college, obviously we're going to see what he's truly made of here, and not at guard. Another thing is he's got an awesome head coach to utilize the offensive line. Like, everyone talks about how Arthur Smith utilizes tight ends and play action and the running game, but nobody really talks about what he did with that offensive line. The offensive line in Tennessee was amazing, especially in the run game. So he's got a head coach to utilize that O-line. He's working alongside some good players like Chris Lindstrom and Jake Matthews. I know they don't play center, but still good to learn from them on the offensive line. And then, last but not least, if Drew Dahlman has potential to replace him at center, that could motivate Matt Hennessy to do better. Obviously, he doesn't want to be replaced by Drew Dahlman, so he wants to prove he is the starting center for the future. And I really believe that Matt Hennessy could be a bounce-back player in 2021. The next player on this list is Kaleb McGary. He's on and off. You know, he's good at times, and then sometimes he's not. But like I said, with Matt Hennessy, he's got a good head coach to work with that could utilize the offensive line here. And then, now, do I expect any replacements, you know, that are just putting pressure on Kaleb McGary's shoulders over here? Like, oh gosh, watch out, he could be replaced by someone. Not really, but it is possible if Drew Dahlman takes center and Matt Hennessy takes guard. What if Jalen Mayfield is going to be the starting right tackle? Like, they don't believe in Kaleb McGary and they want Jalen Mayfield to take that right tackle position. Do I think that's going to happen? Not really, but if it does, Kaleb McGary has some pressure and it could motivate him to do better, but that's kind of a long shot. I think Kaleb McGary is going to be the right tackle regardless, and I don't think they make Jalen Mayfield the right tackle. They make him the left guard. But anyway, yeah, McGary's got a good head coach to work with. He's alongside some great players like Chris Lindstrom and Jake Matthews, who is a tackle you can learn from, one of the best, which, by the way, I don't know why everyone hates Jake Matthews, but anyway. And then, just in general, Kaleb McGary has shown that he can be a great offensive lineman. Just give him a little more time. Offensive linemen in the league always do kind of take a while to develop anyway. So with more time going by, Kaleb McGary could just be that great offensive lineman for us. And then the last player on this list is an obvious one, Hayden Hurst. Surely he has to do better than he did last year. I know everyone's like, oh, he had his best statistical year in 2020, but yeah, no obviously, because he's working with Matt Ryan, who is not a mobile quarterback like Lamar Jackson. So yeah, of course Hayden Hurst is going to have a statistically better year than he did in Baltimore. But let's just be honest, Hayden Hurst did not really he didn't really live up to the expectations in 2020. It just, not even just statistically, but just when you saw him on the field, I don't know, like, I feel like he could have been a little better. But I do still think at the end of the day, he is a very talented player. He's got great hands. He's very athletic. And he's also got a big prove-it year. They just drafted Kyle Pitts, and, you know, do the Falcons really feel confident that they want to work with Hayden Hurst down the stretch? He's got to prove it here, because obviously Kyle Pitts is going to stay there for a long time. So Hayden Hurst has to prove that he is worthy of staying here for a while. But on the bright side, he is working with a head coach and a quarterback that know how to utilize tight ends. Yeah, you might see some more opportunities for Hayden Hurst, especially now that Julio Jones is gone. With Julio Jones gone, everyone on the offense is given a much bigger opportunity. Russell Gage and Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley. Not that they weren't given an opportunity with Julio Jones there, but I think it's safe to say with Julio Jones gone, everyone is given a bigger opportunity than when he was there. So obviously Hayden Hurst has more opportunities to grow. But that's my list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Other than that, I will see you guys with a video this Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Love and appreciate you all for the support. Please make sure to check out my latest Dirty Bird Discussions podcast episode going over the top 3 most important games in the 2021 Atlanta Falcons schedule. I'm pretty proud of it, and I've just been listening to my recent podcast episodes lately, and I'm pretty proud of them. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just really proud of those episodes, and I'm really happy to be doing those episodes with you all. Thank you for the support on that, by the way. But please, if you haven't checked that out, please make sure to do so. Link below, and there might be something huge coming to that podcast very soon. I announced that in my latest episode at the very end. Anyway, I will see you guys this Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. And as always, rise up.